If you work in marketing, you have probably watched the downfall of Twitter and the complete destruction of probably one of the most marketable and SEO centric, friendly, successful phrases in the marketing world go up in flame. First of all, you've had Elon Musk just generally taking over Twitter and, well, making it a complete hellscape, completely destroying any trust with advertisers. And if advertisers don't trust you, they're not going to advertise on your website. So it was any surprise that we are seeing Twitter lose money hand over fist. And I'm still going to be calling it Twitter because that's really what it is. And then, of course, Elon Musk decides he wants to change the name to X. Why? Because X is the everything app. No one wants an everything app. If people wanted that, someone would have made it already. And it's very clear that's not what the market wants. It's not what people themselves have wanted. But this is the obsession of Elon Musk. And in bizarrely, to turn Twitter from a social media site into something that is financially based. And if you've been keeping up with the stories that have come out about Twitter, then you know just how unsecure the information on Twitter has been. I advised a lot of my people who I do a lot of business with, if you've ever shared any private or personal information on Twitter, go and immediately delete those tweets, those DMs, because it's no longer safe. And if that is Twitter and it's going to turn into this financial app, would you even trust Elon Musk with your financial information? I don't think you could. I don't think you should, to be honest. In my opinion. But oh boy, if you want to really understand why Elon Musk has done this and changed it to X, then you've got to understand the past of Elon Musk and his obsession with this idea that he is an infinite genius. Because the thing is, this has happened before. Shockingly enough, this has happened before. This happened to Musk before he was kicked out over at PayPal. And the entire story has a lot of similarities to everything that is currently going on Twitter. So we're going to go through this story because, to be honest, it explains everything why Elon Musk is so obsessed with the name X and why he wants to turn Twitter from a social media site into a financial everything one-stop destination place. It really seems like, what a beautiful way to destroy something that was once something so successful at what it did. But hey, we've got Threads now, so you know, is it really that big a loss? So before we go diving into this story, please do remember to click on the like and share button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, well, buy me coffee. And of course, the other links down below, you can help support the website, the channel, and all that down below. So let's go cover this story because it is a very old story. Of course, happened very much in the 90s and the early 2000s. And I think people have sort of forgotten this story, but has big ramifications and a lot of mirroring to what we are seeing happen to Twitter today. So, this is the story from someone who wrote this called John Bull. But it starts off like this. So, to understand Musk's renewed obsession with X and the focus on financial services, you really need to understand the X confetti merger that became PayPal, and particularly the Peter Thiel-led coup that kicked Musk out as CEO/chief strategist. Here's how that happened. In early 1999, Zip2, The newspaper online directory service that Musk had co-founded was sold to Compute for over $300 million, and Elon's share was about 20 million. So Elon begins hitting up his old connections from his time at Scotiabank. He says that he wants to launch a financial superstore. But having drummed up support, he founds a new company to try and take this forward. And he immediately buys, pardon me, buys the X.com brand off a Pittsburgh power computer for 1.5 million shares of A stock in his new company, X. But advisors expressed concern over X as a brand. Elon, however, loves it. And let me tell you, as someone who works in marketing, a one-letter word like that to try and describe your company is nothing. It is confusing. It will pick up no traffic. The SEO, that runs all the algorithms from Google to Bing to everything else will just look at that and just go, "What is that?" we don't understand what people are searching for. Meanwhile, you had something like Twitter, which had people using, "Oh, I'm going to retweet," or "I'm going to tweet this," which was an absolute wonder for you if you were in SEO or marketing. And yet Musk has just destroyed all that completely. And it's such a shame. But anyway, the story continues. So he describes X.com as, quote, the coolest URL on the internet. X, he says, marks the spot for treasure, and that's how people will see it, he insists. Well, people are not seeing it like that. In fact, people are almost thinking that it's something to do with porn. The SEO will almost certainly see it like that. It's not going to attract investors. So back to it. He invests over 12.5 million pounds of his own, $1 million, should we say, of his own cash into X and begins to build an online bank. Musk's obsession with speed and disdain for regulation means that the X developers love him, but this causes worry with the financial expert side. First Western, the banking partner, discovers that accounts are being opened under fake names, and the finance peeps try but fail to coup Elon out. So this is the other thing. If what is true in the past, that Elon was cutting corners, not following regulation, then here's the thing. Other banks are not even going to want to do business with X. So you could set up an account on X, and then your bank will just refuse to transfer anything there. Businesses, companies will just refuse to do businesses with accounts with X. That is highly likely that could happen if it comes out, as I maybe suspect, that the financial side is going to be heavily, shall we say, played fast and loose with at X, if this is what if Elon's past is anything to go by. But this continues. In early 2000, X hits the news for a vulnerability that allows money to be moved between accounts with just account details. This is then fixed, but it spooks investors. Elon agrees with investor Mike Moritz from Sequoia to become the CTO, while Bill Harris, the ex-Intuit, becomes the CEO. Meanwhile, over the road, literally, a startup called Confetti is making waves. It's funded by Peter Thiel, who is also its CEO, but is the brainchild of Ukrainian Max Lovluchin, who is its CTO. It is backed by Nokia, and Confetti is trying to make a way to beam money between Palm Pilots by infrared. You need to skip a lot here, but jump forward a bit, and both X and Confetti accidentally create the same killer product as an offshoot of their main one. the ability to exchange money via email. The confetti pivot is exclusively, and X doesn't. Musk's goal is a financial superstore. The strength and focus has gone on X's email payment predecessor and mostly been due to David Sachs, one of Elon's hires who he trusts and who spotted the huge potential. He keeps Musk grounded with his eyes on this, while Elon is also pushing into riskier financial service stuff. But Harris, X's CEO, sees Confetti and X are both in a death spiral. They are bleeding cash fighting. He then speaks to Thiel, and Thiel suggests a merger. Musk fights this, but then after another funding round, Harris threatens to quit, spooking investors. Elon said, "He held a gun to my head." The firms merge. Harris and Thiel then insist on the new firm's X focus on email payments, ideally on Confetti's PayPal platform. Elon insists his financial superstore is the future. When Thiel and Harris then fall out over strategy, Elon then persuades Thiel to help coup Harris out. Elon is now the CEO. Thiel and Levchin are initially fine with this. Musk has promised to focus on email payments and to provide PayPal and to improve PayPal first, and its financial superstore is, quote, a future thing. But over months, Levchin realizes that Elon has become obsessed with porting the PayPal entirely to Microsoft, not Linux. Months of dev time with X is burning over 12 million a month. It is lost to Musk's obsession with PayPal version 2, a complete rework on Microsoft. It is beyond a bad plan. Microsoft servers and the Muskwell cannot scale enough at the time. But Elon decrees it and even declares a launch with no rollback option. So essentially, to say what that is, if that launches, if you launch this and you were to launch such a big sort of product, if anything goes wrong, even the slightest thing goes wrong, you can't roll it back. You can't undo it. You've got to, it's out there and you've got to fix it in real time. And that can be a massive, massive reputational damage to it. And if you're seeing this right now, this is incredibly similar to what Musk has done with Twitter, except Musk bought Twitter and has had no one to keep him grounded, no one to say, "Hey, Elon, that's a terrible idea." Because he is obsessed with his own genius and obsessed that this whole X app, as you were about to see, is the right direction and that he wants to go on. So the story continues. So Elon orders the killing of the PayPal brand. He orders that PayPal.com be routed to X.com, and Lagos is phased out, decrees it should now be referred to as X PayPal, and describes it as part of the X family of financial services. He's not letting the dream go. This obsession with X as a brand causes enormous concern as it continually goes down terribly with consumers. I said it. Well, now I can guarantee you there are focus groups testing the Twitter name change, and it is going down just as bad. But this is what they had to say. So Vivian Go on focus group testing had this to say. Again and again, the theme of, "Oh God, I wouldn't trust this website. It's an adult website," and just, "I wouldn't trust that." Meanwhile, Teal finds out via X's financial wizard, Rolf Botha, that the financial superstore side of the stuff is worse than Musk has led on. X is offering credit on almost no identity checks. And bear in mind, this is the direction that Musk wants to go in. Just the fiasco I think that he's going to unfurl over this is wow, it doesn't bear thinking about. And to be honest, this is very likely what was going to happen in the future, and it's going to be fascinating to watch what happens. But as I said, this story has a lot of parallel to what's going on with Twitter right now, or what at least Musk has done with Twitter. So, combined with the V2 fiasco, Thiel and others realized that X is on the verge of failing. Thiel and some other key figures then approach Elon and beg him to abandon PayPal version 2 and his strategy of becoming the one-stop global financial service. Thiel then points out they only have $65 million left in the bank. Musk refuses. They have to go for the grand prize, he insists. Thiel, Lichen, and Botha and Sachs now cross the Rubicon. They decide to coup Elon. They quietly gather the signatures of a lot of the confetti loyalists and then a mass quit threat. On the 19th of September 2000, as Elon is taking off for Europe on his honeymoon, they then make their move. Thiel and Lifkin are board members, and the other four are Musk, Mallory, and another major investor, Moritz and Hurd, who is the chair. Elon is in the air. Thiel asks Hurd to summon an emergency board meeting by phone. Over the phone, Thiel and Lefkin revealed that PayPal version 2 and the financial issues to Mallory, Moritz, and Hurd, who had no idea about them. They are sympathetic to Elon as founder and visionary, but horrified this was all done without board approval and at the mass resignation letter. With Elon out of the country, he can't work his person in magic. He insists over the phone that the financial superstore is the big win. All this is in service of that. It doesn't work. Mallory, Musk, and Hertz side with Thiel and Lifkin, and Elon is out as CEO before he can even fly back. Musk is devastated and furious, saying, "Sneaky backstabbing bastards." He describes them as, but to his credit, recognizes that he cannot fight him and presents a public image that it was a mutual decision. Thiel becomes the interim and then later permanent CEO. He orders the end of V2 and a focus on PayPal. So, hopefully, you can now see the roots of this whole X pivot thing now that Musk has designed. Has designed that the way is to save Twitter and regain his genius status is a way to fall back on his unrealized vision from 1999. Build the world's financial nexus, as he described it then. I think it's a terrible idea. And as do I. I think it is an absolutely awful idea, given what you've just heard there about some of the problems that his original PayPal version 2 was going through. It really does not sound good. So, then it continues. The world has moved on, as it has. He is doing the tech equivalent of drunk DMing his old high school girlfriend and telling her that she's hot. But you can see the origins now. He thinks this is the genius idea that got away, and that this time no one can coup him. Anyway, hope that's useful context. None of what's going on is surprising if you have lived through it or have studied it. You've just got to get past the whole geography of Silicon Valley that creates around its great men. So that's the original story of what happened and why Musk is so obsessed with creating this X, the everything app. But it's not an everything app. It's just this financial service one-stop shop. But you've heard some of the problems that Musk had created, offering credit to people who didn't even have correct details, almost giving no proper financial information to allow transactions. Do you think all the main banks around the world are going to want to do business with X, because I'll tell you now, initially that might be the case, but I think as time rolls on, we're going to see um, stories roll out about this, and then you're going to see the big banks go, "We're not doing business with X anymore." I think that's potentially what might happen. I, you know, this grand idea that Elon's got, I can't see it working. And as was said there, I agree. I think it's an absolutely terrible idea. The world's moved on. If you want an online bank account right now, go get a Revolut account. It's pretty easy to go out and set up, and it's got some really cool and amazing features. Um, but yeah, it's what's the saying? Past is prologue. I think it is, or is that a title to a Star Trek episode? I can't remember, but yeah, you can see where all this is coming from, and it seems to me to be a disaster about to unfurl. But it's going to be interesting to watch. I'll say that now. It's going to be very interesting to watch. So, as always, thank you very much for watching, and of course, we'll see you all next time.